Welcome back, everyone. Today we are going to be playing through our conference schedule. After going 11-6 in the non-conference, it's going to be another competitive year in the Patriot League, and we're going to get our shot at revenge at Navy. We didn't stick out quite as much as last year in the non-conference compared to the rest of the league, finishing 11-6, still first right now in the record, but the rest of the league is close behind us. And as we saw last year, non-conference not going to get you into the tournament in the Patriot League. Navy once again very good this year. Bucknell and Lehigh though fell off a little bit. Could see Colgate and Lafayette, maybe American towards the top of the league in their place. Current first team all conference, Theo Watkins for Navy. We saw him last year putting up 27 points a game. Good to see Cedric Teal also represented at this point in the season, scoring 18 a game. And our new recruiting class basically taking up the entire freshman all first team, so good future for Holy Cross there. But as we know at the end of the last video, Derek Dickerson was playing really well at center, so we're going to go ahead and move him into the starting lineup and see how that goes in conference play. Our first matchup is going to be against American, who's rated well and in the middle of the conference, but we're going to pull away and end up winning this one. Teal with 24, Dickerson still playing well, getting 19 in this one. And now we're really wanting to get to that Navy game, so we're going to simulate through some games. We end up losing to Lehigh, which is not a great look, and then losing to them once again. We did pick up a win against Colgate during that stretch. But we want to get to the big game. Navy undefeated so far in conference. We are only 2-2, looking for revenge after a controversial loss in the conference semifinals last year. The team thought they were going to make the tournament last year, but ended up overlooking Navy in the conference tournament, and you can bet Coach Runt and his players remember that loss. But here we are, traveling to the United States Naval Academy to go get our revenge. But the troops and their fans are confident, getting the energy going early. And just an exciting matchup here between probably the two best players in the conference, Theo Watkins and Cedric Teal. And we know the game plan by now. We need to get the energy up, get turnovers, and get a lot of shots up. And we're going to have to limit Theo Watkins, again averaging almost 30 points. And we are off, the two favorites to win the conference, and these teams do not like each other. Navy wins the opening tip-off, and we are getting into our defense. Dickerson with some good off-ball defense, gets his hand on it, and we got an opportunity here to get some momentum. Angelo with the lob, but we can't make the connection. Minute or so later, we get a big block, and we're going to be running the fast break here. Plummer, he's just going to pull up himself, and we get our first bucket of the game. Navy looking to get a lead, capitalize off the early buzz from the crowd, and that will help. And we knew this was coming as they're in their press, but we quickly break it, and Teal throws the lob, and there he is, Dickerson with the big dunk. That big-to-big connection has been great so far, really anybody throwing lobs to Dickerson. But our offense slowing down a little bit, get lots of opportunities thanks to Parnell here, but we just can't capitalize on any of them so far, and we're going to end up not getting anything out of it. Both teams off to a slow start as the point guard Bill Moorhead for Navy filling in for that Amby Augustine role as Theo Watkins' running mate makes a mid-range shot. Every team needs that spark plug sixth man scorer though, and John Anthony has turned into that as he gets a bucket here. Really been impressed with him in his freshman year, and if we stick around long enough he could turn into something special. The freshman McCray running the break, he's going to find Teal, who gets Watkins up in the air and finishes. That's that matchup we were looking out for. About a minute later out of the timeout, we're going to some of our more reliable upperclassmen. Brett Plummer and Jamal Banks relying on each other. Both have done a great job in times where offense has been slow this year of getting to the mid-range like Jamal Banks does right here. Really important to have guys like that when shots aren't falling. And they haven't been. We haven't made a three yet, but here in the fast break, we're going to find Damon Angelo, who pulls back and pulls up to make the first three of the game for us. But Coach Runt's not going to like to see this one. Offensive rebounds, the thing that's plagued us for basically his entire tenure, comes back once again here. Theo Watkins just kills teams that does things like that. Luckily, Teal has a similar ability to punish bad defensive rebounding, and he gets it going here. Coming down the stretch of a pretty back and forth first half here, playing some good defense, we get the block from behind for Angelo, and now Teal running the break. He's going to post up and get double team, find his man Banks, who will knock down the three to give us the lead at halftime. At halftime of this one, we can see the nerves getting to both teams. They haven't even made a three-pointer yet, but our 7 blocks and 9 points off turnovers is really doing well to keep us in it. Despite poor shooting, we're doing a great job of playing our game. 9 seconds per possession and 8 steals in that first half. And we got the Avengers camera angle going as the team's walking onto the court for the second half. And just like the first half, looking to build some momentum with a lob, but just can't connect on a good opportunity there. As both teams settle in, emotions are starting to get a little high here. Both teams know the stake. Good block there from Dickerson. But then he picks up a foul that he does not like, and you can just see the passion from the freshman there. And from one freshman to the other, John Anthony with a good opportunity here gets the screen from Banks, and he's going to pull up off the screen. Too much space, and he's feeling himself. This team gets a good mix of energy and momentum from the younger guys, while the older guys can just stay calm and make shots like these. And there's some of that energy from the sophomore Parnell. And we're really getting going now as Teal blocks Watkins. And now we're going on the break. Banks leading the charge. He finds Teal, who's just going to shoot it and knock it down. 6-point lead. And the midshipmen starting to lose it a little bit here. And their coach is going to recognize that and call a timeout to try to get things back under control. Good game sense there from Navy's coach. And it's going to turn into a good timeout as our defense is kind of shuffling around here. And they end up finding a guy inside, tough pass, and he'll finish the layup back down to a 4-point game. Could really use a stop here. We don't want to let them get their crowd too much more back into it. And that is not going to help our case. And just a minute after they call their timeout, we're going to call one too. Get Teal back in the game. He came out for that quick 4-0 run for Navy. You can see the chess match going on between these two coaches. They know how big this game is. A little bit after that timeout, Angelo getting the screen from Dickerson, drawing in the defense, and then finding his buddy Jamal Banks. He's going to knock it down. And if you didn't believe me about this rivalry, take a look at the Fire Your Coach sign coming out of the trombone section. Even the band's getting in on the hatred. And Dickerson, even though he wasn't here last year, certainly getting in on it too. He can't believe this call, and he is not a fan of Navy right now. And if you ignore the rebounding category, we're doing a really good job of Theo Watkins. He's averaging 28 a game, and he's only got 6 with 7 minutes left. Good inbound play there from Coach Runt, gives us a 3-point lead. And here's Dickerson on Theo Watkins' big block. Give him a little flex there. And then our offense struggling a little bit here as we lose the ball a couple times, kick it around a couple times, and end up with an offensive foul from Cedric Teal. Offense all of a sudden looking a little out of sorts. And now Watkins in the pick and roll, but Teal is there once again. He's winning this matchup right now. We're going to run the break now. Dickerson bringing it up. He's going to find Teal and a big dunk on Watkins. But number 44 for Navy is one of the best players in the conference for a reason. Gets an offensive rebound over 2 guys and cuts it back down to 5. We're looking for a response now. Getting into the end of this game. Going to our star Teal with a classic hook shot, 7-point game. Teal having a great game. Starting to feel himself maybe a little too much here as he almost airballs that shot. Let's get a second look. Fadeaway over the guy that fell over. And just clips the rim there, so not quite an air ball. Now 3.5 minutes left. Anthony with a contested 3, and he's going to get the roll. 10-point game, 11-2 run. Back on defense now. Derek Dickerson clapping in Theo Watkins' face. Gets a big block. I think this guy hates Navy more than anybody who was on the team last year. They did get the ball back. We cut off a drive now, and we get a double team going. And it's too much pressure for Moorhead, usually a good ball handler, but he just walks out of bounds. Bench is very disappointed in him. Here's the Plummer-Dickerson pick and roll. There's the lob, and it's not a dunk, but a good mid-air adjustment, and we get the layup. Back on defense, looking to close this one out. Navy goes to their power forward Major, and he ends up getting the board and a big dunk right on Banks. Back down to a 6-point game, and that brings the crowd back to life. We need a timeout. We were feeling comfortable, but now we got to really get this thing together to close it out. And this is not going to help. Plummer lets a wide open cutter go by him, open layup, and it's a 4-point game. After some fouls, Damon Angelo, our best free throw shooter, is going to miss. And Navy has the ball back now, and what looked like was a sure thing is in jeopardy. We get our hands on it, but he's going to shoot a 3, And Major gets another offensive rebound and blocked by Teal. Cedric Teal tops off a great game with a game-saving block, and Dickerson is going to get to put the final nail in the coffin against the team that he hates. And we just saw Major get an offensive rebound just like this and then dunk on our guys. But Teal uses his magic powers to knock away this ball via maybe the force? And in the first of maybe 3 matchups against Navy this year, we get our revenge for them eliminating us last year. Despite giving up 19 rebounds to Theo Watkins, we hold the guy to 8 points. That's the league's leading scorer, and it's not close. Great defensive performance from Teal, Dickerson, and Parnell. Nobody really went off against us in that one. And Dickerson with 6 blocks, Teal with 4 blocks, a couple from some other guys. And really just a great game. Teal ended up with 17 points. John Anthony off the bench with 11, and a pretty balanced offensive attack to get us that win. Jumping right into our next game against the Lafayette Leopards. They're also another pretty highly rated team, and we're going back and forth with them. And we're going to end up going to 70-70 tie game. They have a star power forward, Bryce Clay, who's got 25 and 11. And yeah, jumping into another really big game back-to-back. Cedric Teal still doing his thing. Pretty light crowd from the Holy Cross faithful. Disappointing to see, as this one is going down to the wire. Very good game. They're going to have an opportunity to win it here, but we get our hands on it. They get it back, get the shot up, and Dickerson blocks it. Full court shot, no good. We're going to go to overtime. Teal is excited like we just won the game. I don't know what's happening. The fans are unhappy. Coach Runt is unfazed. I guess overtime is a matter of perspective on whether you like it or not. But here we go down early, but Banks is going to knock down a 3 to make it a 1-point game. And end of the shot clock, John Anthony is going to draw a foul, and he's excited about it. An interesting wrinkle in this one as Coach Runt takes Damon Angelo out, puts John Anthony in down the stretch. Unless something drastic happens, Angelo won't be coming out of the starting lineup, but he might be just riding the hot hand for who ends up getting these down the stretch minutes. With that being said, Banks hits a 3 to make it a 10-0 run, and Lafayette going to call a timeout. Look at that happy guy, Derek Dickerson. But we can't celebrate yet, as a tough layup here gets it back down to a 2-point game. Lafayette not out of it. But the young kid, John Anthony, playing with so much confidence, off the screen, guy in his face, he doesn't care, 4-point game. But with 30 seconds left, Lafayette gets a layup to cut it to a 2-point game. Teal's going to end up at the line, and he will knock down the first one and then knock down the second one as well. The home road free throw splits are just ridiculous in this game. But we get the stop, and we're going to be going to the line, end up closing this one out. 8-point win over a tough Lafayette squad. You gotta love Derek. He's just so happy, except when he's playing against Navy, I guess. But back to simulating as we pick up a win against Bucknell on the road. Again, another down year for them. And then a big break for us during rivalry week, as we don't technically have a rival, even though we're not big fans of Navy. We pick one up against Army before going to face off against American. The American Eagles, pretty highly rated, although they haven't played too well in conference play. And we're going to end up picking up a win against them. Teal with 22, Dickerson with 12 and 19. And we're going to be simcasting our second matchup against Navy. Pretty likely to see them again in the conference tournament. So we'll just see where this goes. Pretty close game here. Teal having a great game with 25 and 12. But Theo Watkins getting revenge for us shutting him down earlier in the year. 36 points, 21 rebounds. Banks also with 21 and 7, and just as we jump in, we immediately give up an easy bucket, and unfortunately that would be just about the only thing that would happen. After I jumped in, we couldn't get the offense going and just gave up a bunch of layups in a row, and they ended up pulling away and beating us on our home court. So frustrating to lose to Navy the second time around, but that's what makes a good rivalry, and we'll hopefully get to see them again in the conference tournament. Back to simulating to get through the rest of the conference schedule. We pick up another win against Bucknell, but then go on the road to Lafayette and lose big. Only 2 games left against Colgate and then Army, so we're going to jump into this one. And a lot of teams bunched up at the top of the league. Colgate, us, Navy, and Lafayette, all with either 3 or 4 losses. And we could really end up anywhere in this top 4 right now. Very similar to last year with 4 teams up at the top with a lot of wiggle room and shuffling to be done late in the season. But we're going to move a little quicker through this one, and they are off to a fast start, getting up 6-0 here. But the Crusaders showing some versatility, usually reliant on transition offense, but they got good ball movement against the zone here, and Teal knocks it down. We do oftentimes struggle against the zones, but with Teal shooting well, we're doing okay for now. And you don't have to worry about zone defense if you can just get down and score before they can even get set up. Off a turnover here, Plummer gets down and makes it a 10-0 run for us. And they call a timeout, but we're not done yet here, as Parnell with a good defensive possession here, and we're ready to run the other way. Teal leading the charge, and that means it's going to be a big dunk. Back on defense now as Colgate running their offense. They shoot a very heavily contested 3, but get it to go, and it's back down to a 1-point game. A few minutes later, Plummer hitting the corner 3 again before they can set up the zone. And now a weird lob, I think that was meant for Dickerson, but it ends up in his hands and he just decides to shoot the layup and gets it. It's another big run for us as we're back up by 10 points, and it's going to lead Colgate into calling a timeout. Damon Angelo feeling himself. Cedric Teal jumping. Nothing like a good just jump when you're excited. Decent amount of turnovers for both teams as they hit the shot there, and then they pick up another one. Angelo running the break, perfect opportunity, and just misses the layup somehow. And now they're going to move through the defense, and their point guard with a tough finish on Cedric Teal. And coming down the wire in the first half, we're going to have to hustle to get a shot up. John Anthony passes it off to Plummer, who just chucks it up and nails it. And he does not care. No excitement whatsoever. He's just locked in. Both teams struggling with turnovers so far in this one, and not shooting great either. But we're getting into the second half. Teal, an underrated passer, going to find Banks for the open 3 and go up 5. You don't see it in the highlights, but we were struggling in the first half against the zone. So we brought in Tyson Navarre, and he ends up making a big impact real quickly. I'm not really sure why, but he always tends to do well against zone defenses. As we're moving the ball around, Banks gets the pump fake and gets to the rim. Tyson Navarre, not a guy we've seen much of this year, but some good play from him might have earned him some more minutes down the stretch. Plummer knocking down another corner 3. And then good defense from Teal is going to turn into a fast break. Plummer finds Teal once again running the court, and all he does is just score. Besides some occasional big dunks, it's usually not flashy, it's just him getting buckets all the time. And he likes his new running mate. Here we see a good opportunity and a reverse lob dunk from Derek Dickerson. The big-to-big connection. And speaking of those dunks, as we're starting to run away with them, big opportunity here, and he goes soaring and slams it down to make it an 8-0 run. Maybe I'm not giving Cedric enough credit for his showmanship. As Tyson Navarre checks out after some more good minutes. We're feeling good about this one, but still got to close it out as they are going to bring it back to a 10-point game and then an 8-point game. We definitely don't want to let them hang around as we want to separate ourselves from them in the standings. And when we need a shot in this type of moment, we're just going to find Teal. Doesn't matter it's against the zone. He's just going to get to his spot and get the bucket. And then after a turnover, Banks in the fast break with the pullback, knocks down the 3, and it's a 13-point game. Got to give Colgate some credit as they're not ready to give up yet, but another corner 3 from Brett Plummer is going to make it very difficult. And a great inbound play here against the zone is going to be the icing on the cake as Derek Dickerson dunks all over Colgate. And as Tyson Navarre is shooting free throws to close this one out, a bizarre interaction from him and Parnell as they just stare each other down. We got a game going on, boys. Navarre did a great job of taking advantage of his minutes, and Coach Runt liked what he saw. He'll probably be jumping back into the rotation for the end of the season. And that will do it for the conference schedule, with one more win against Army to bring us to 10-4 during conference play. And that's the end of the second regular season. We finished the year 21-10, and in the next video we're going to take a look at the end of season awards, and then we're going to see where we ended up in our conference standings before we play out the conference tournament. Really excited to see if we can make the tournament this time around. And then once the season is over, it might be a big decision for Coach Runt whether he's going to stick around or go find a new opportunity. So lots of exciting things coming up in the series. Thank you again if you made it this far, and we will see you next time.